Today, my junior year of high school began, and I'm already getting that looming feeling like it's just never going to end. So, in honor of that, just for you guys, I've decided to compile a little list of hopelessness and desperation in the world of films. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the top 5 movies that will never be made. I do have to make a slight exception on the never rule for number 5, just because it does seem to be coming together, but not in any way good. At number 5 is DC's superhero team-up, the Justice League of America. Now, like I said, this isn't necessarily never happening because Warner Brothers is shopping around for directors for the thing right now, and it looks like they're trying to get a swift move on with it after the success of the Avengers. However, the way this is coming together appears to me like something that's going to fall flat on its face, much like it did back in 2006 when George Miller tried to direct it. The way that they're putting this thing together is just shoddy. They had the chance to start this universe off with Green Lantern and start dropping hints to it. They didn't. And not only did they not, but they made a terrible movie on top of it, so there's no excitement being built there. Man of Steel is clearly not being made with any intention of leading into a Justice League movie unless there's something we don't know. And Batman is over. They're going to either have to recast this entire group of characters and make a completely random story with different cast members in like a strange alternate universe in order to make this work, which won't work because we'll have no previous attachment to the characters and we won't care what's going on because we'll have no build up to the team up, which was the most important part of the Avengers, is that we cared about what was going on before we even walked into that theater. And Justice League simply cannot and will not have that going for it, especially in the swift time it takes to make the film. Sure, it may happen, but it won't happen in any way that we want, and I personally think that the project is going to crash and burn before it even gets off the ground. Somehow, the next 2 items on this list work out amazingly according to their numbers. At number 4 is Jurassic Park 4. Is there even a real reason to say why this project is dead? It's so obvious. It's just a dead-in-the-water concept. I feel like Spielberg learned from his mistakes on making the 4th Indiana Jones and is trying to pull this project back with all of his might. Sure, every so often you hear about how they hire new writers for the thing, but the concept is just dead. There's nowhere else to go with this unless you do some radical extinction type concept, which I don't think would be a very good movie anyway. But what certainly won't be a good movie is yet another thing of random people running from dinosaurs going, what's going on? And just kind of meandering around through the same story we've already experienced 3 times before. Sure, Jurassic Park 3 was fun, but that was a suitable last chapter to what should be known as a mediocre trilogy with an amazing first film. And Lord knows if they did make this, they'd have some cheap gimmick with the 3D where they're just like, dinos in 3D. Damn, damn, damn! At number 3, Ghostbusters 3. Now this situation is pretty similar to the one involving Jurassic Park. Every so often you hear about how a new writer's been attached, now they're gonna go after it eventually. But what really makes this film go above Jurassic Park is that I feel like absolutely nobody from the original cast actually wants to make the film, and they're just saying all this, then they're saying they're excited just so they can keep fans happy. And Bill Murray just said, screw that, I'm going to be honest. And he starts shredding copies of the script and just saying, no, I'm not going to do it. And I just feel like there's such a fan anticipation with this film that's just not going to be lived up to. It's just going to, if it gets made, it's just going to be embarrassing for these guys to try to recapture what old magic was originally there, which in my mind is very little. I find the original Ghostbusters to be funny but profoundly overrated, and the second one to just be a miserable disaster. I mean, these guys could suit up and try to get back into the ghost-busting habit, but I just feel like it would just be embarrassing, and I'm starting to feel like everybody in this cast feels the exact same way. At number 2, Halo. Let's face it, if there were any hope for this project, Neil Blomkamp and Peter Jackson would have made it back in 2006. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and Neil Blomkamp went to go on and make District 9, which was fantastic, but even so, no Halo movie exists. Now, the thing about Halo that makes me think it's never going to happen is not just the fact that there's absolutely been no news regarding it in years. as far as I remember. I think maybe a writer got hired at some point. I can't really remember. But also, the fact that this film would just be incredibly risky for a studio to make. It would have to be really expensive, really big. They'd have to get an actual decent director to come in and make it, so they couldn't hire just some cheap guy. And the thing is that Halo is not just your average shoot 'em up, blow 'em up video game. It actually has a really rich sci-fi mythology that I feel like it would be hard for a major studio to attach itself to, even with all the fan base and all of that kind of stuff that would rally in support of a Halo film. A studio is simply going to look at the story and just say it's unfilmable just because it has that very rich mythology. And I find that it's going to be hard for a studio to put money behind a big sci-fi epic like this, especially after the John Carter debacle. It's just going to be hard for a studio to really want to fund a movie as ambitious as a Halo movie would have to be, especially after John Carter and all the failed video game adaptations that have spent a lot of money and faltered under their own weight. And although I gotta admit I want to see a Halo movie, it doesn't pain me to put it on this list as much as my number one. Yes, unfortunately, at number one, Deadpool. Now you might be thinking to yourself something to the extent of, what? You, the ultimate proprietor of Deadpool? Yes, me, the ultimate proprietor of Deadpool. Man, guys, I'm sorry. Chuck Norris has been messing with my jump cut editing ever since the Expendables 2 review. Please stop it, you brilliant actor, man! Hey, it worked. For now. Yes, everybody, as lovely as it has been for my channel to pretend that a Deadpool movie is actually going to happen, unfortunately, it's not. Through the years, ever since I've created that video, Fox has taken baby steps in creating the film, getting a screenplay written by Rhett Reese and Phil Warnick, the guys who wrote Zombieland, and getting a director and animator, Tim Miller. However, every step beyond that just seems to be too damn hard. He can't cast another role, he can't tell us when the thing's coming out, give us a release date. They're always saying, oh, we'll get right on it as soon as Ryan Reynolds is done shooting another movie. You know, this movie was supposed to be made right after Green Lantern. Green Lantern's been out. Ryan Reynolds just seems to always put other projects before this, and he's always like, oh, this is my passion project, but he never seems to actually put a foot forward in getting the thing made. He's always out the door doing some other movie, R.I.P.D., before he can get to this, and it just seems like it's never going to happen, not only because Reynolds refuses to commit to the film with R.I.P.D. and Highlander. Highlander? Really? But and even beyond that, this is just a movie that was risky for a studio to make anyway, to commit to a hard R, comedic, self-aware film that pokes fun at previous films in the franchise, while also kind of breaking new ground in the superhero genre. It was a hard sell to begin with. But the fact that nobody's taking any steps toward making this movie, let's just stop kidding ourselves. A Deadpool spin-off will never work. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't watch this video as much as the Deadpool one. I mean, that'd be great. Please? And that was my list of the top 5 movies that will never be made. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you for your support. And until next time, I'm Movie Kid Mike.